Hey everyone, this is Bjorn from Soilwork, and this is Brutally Delicious. I'm gonna guide you through the 100th episode of Brutally Delicious, and I'm also gonna show you how to make this. Okay, so with the Swedish meatballs, we're gonna have mashed potatoes. And for the mashed potatoes, you obviously need the potatoes, salt, pepper, butter, milk, and some chives. All right, so I'm gonna cut up the potatoes a little bit. Those are really big. Don't take all day to boil the potatoes. I'll cut them up in smaller pieces. All right, so let's put them on the stove. So make sure you give the potatoes a stab every now and then to feel if they're soft enough. Those feel great, so I think it's time we do some mashed potato magic. Okay, it's time to make the mashed potatoes. We're gonna start by draining the water. Hot, 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 hot. And we need some butter. We need some milk. And again, heavy whipping cream. Lots of cream in Swedish food, I'll tell you that much. And chives. Need to chop those fine, as fine as possible. And then chop them up some more. Masher. And start mashing the potatoes. A 300 BPM version. Good enough. Time to mix in some cream, some milk. And the chives. And how about some butter while we're at it? There we go. Some black pepper and some salt. There, beautiful. These are the ingredients. You'll need eggs, honey, ground mustard. This is a horseradish one, which works great as well. Breadcrumbs, heavy whipping cream, beef broth, some lean ground beef, and some ground veal. 2 onions, fresh thyme, black pepper, salt, and paprika. Okay, so I'm gonna start by soaking some of the breadcrumbs in whipping cream. This should do it. Splash of heavy whipping cream. And you just let it sit for a couple of minutes, 5 or 10 actually. Okay, next we're going to start chopping up the onions. Going to be dicing them. Cut off the edges first. Alright, next we're going to throw the ground veal and the ground beef into the bowl. Take the onions. Hopefully I can get them all in there. Drop it. So it's the hardest part. This has turned into almost a little bit of a paste. And if you feel that it's too thick, you can actually add some of that cream, which I actually think I need to do. It's going to be a little bit of a paste, but it shouldn't be too thick. And the breadcrumbs have already absorbed all the cream, as you can see. So we'll just throw it in here. There. And some salt and pepper. Okay, so before we start mixing it all, we need some eggs. I think 2 should do it. I personally really like the taste of thyme, and in Swedish meatballs I think they're awesome. So I'm going to take some of this fresh thyme and chop it up and put it into the mix. Try to chop the thyme as fine as possible. It's a little bit of work, but it's worth it. You do want to make sure you get rid of some of the stems in there so you get it really finely chopped. Alright, so we're going to put in some paprika. Don't worry about measuring too much. Just try to eyeball it and feel it out. This should do it. Okay, next up some mustard. Again, just try to eyeball it. I like to feel the flavor of mustard in my meatballs, so, you know, don't be too scared to put a lot of mustard actually in there. Then some broth, beef broth. That should do it. And last, not least, honey. It's actually our former bass player Olaf Link who taught me about putting honey in everything, basically. I think honey brings out a lot of flavor in things. So thank you, Olaf. While cooking, I like to drink beer. All right, let's get dirty. Make sure you take off your rings and bracelets and cut your nails as well. That's important, because this is a mess. And eventually you're gonna start making those into Swedish meatballs. Swedish meatballs are a little bit smaller than Italian ones. The Italian ones tend to get really big, but I think it's just better making small ones for Swedish meatballs. Try to just kind of smush it down at first and then kind of build it up into a ball. I'm gonna try to make it even rounder. You know what? That's good enough. Thank you. Thank you. Personally, I like to have a little bit of a burnt surface, especially the onions. They get a little burnt. It gives it a good taste. All right, it's time to sample the meatballs. Pretty good. Can really taste the thyme as well, which I really like. Good stuff. Okay, once the meatballs are done, you can use some of the grease, juice, to make the cream sauce. Just a little bit, not too much, otherwise it's going to be a little bit too greasy. Cream sauce is essential when you make Swedish meatballs. So, I'm just going to pour some water into this little glass bowl here. And some flour, in order to make the sauce a little bit thicker and not too watery. It's very important. That's good. And we also have some of the juice, as I showed you before, from frying the meatballs. So now we're gonna just mix it all together. Okay, we're gonna start with throwing in the meatball juice. Some cream. I'm going to add a little bit of soy or soy sauce. What I usually do is to add in a little bit of blackberry or black cassis into the sauce to make it a little bit sweeter. Okay, in order to make it a little bit thicker, throw in the water that's mixed with the flour. Sauce is a little bit thicker now. Should be done. Just going to sample it. That's good. Perfect. I think we're done. Okay, so now that everything is ready, it's time to put everything on a nice little plate. Before we put all of this together, one very important ingredient is also some kind of berries. Normally I would use lingonberries, and since we're currently in Canada, the only way to get lingonberries is to go to IKEA, and we got stuck in traffic, so that didn't really happen. But you know what? Cranberry sauce is not that bad either. So let's open this. Okay, so we're gonna start with mashed potatoes. It's a really bad spoon that I have right here. We'll have to do something like that. Yep. And the meatballs. Give them a nice little push. And cream sauce. You can put them on the side as well, but I kind of like to put them on top of the meatballs. And last thing, cranberries or lingonberries. And you know what? Some thyme for decoration. This is how you make Swedish meatballs.
So is this any good?
I think so. Let's
Have
try
you
it
made
out.
it before?
A couple of times. Couple of times.
Go for it.
All right, let's do it.
Good job.
Yeah.
Oh.